the only way for you to have the answer to all of your money problems, besides getting rid of bad financial habits and getting rid of expenses that are unnecessary, is to earn more money. But you also have to take a look at things. Like, you guys will see, I never had cable. You've never seen me write cable in any of my budgets because I don't have it. You guys won't see a Netflix or a Hulu or all of these different subscriptions. You won't see it. Mainly what you see is my rent, my utilities, my car insurance, and different business expenses that I have to have, like hosting a website and stuff like that. But outside of that, like, I don't have any extra expenses, okay? What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be kind of like a 2018 in review. So I'm going to be talking about like my budget last year, how much money I made, how much money I put towards savings, how much money I put towards debt, and all of that good stuff. I'm also going to be talking about kind of the ups and downs that I had like in my personal life and business and different things that kind of affected my budget. So yeah, let's get started. So 2018 was the very first full year that I actually budgeted. I didn't start budgeting until October of 2017, so just a couple of months before the new year. And before that, what I basically used to do was I used to kind of financial plan. So basically kind of what I do off of YouTube, like before I come to you guys with the paycheck to paycheck budgets and stuff like that, I used to do financial planning for myself in the beginning or like the end of the month for the following month. And that's how I would determine like how much money would go towards variable expenses, how much money would go towards fixed expenses, how much money would go towards savings, and how much money would go towards debt. So I was doing that already, but before I started budgeting, basically like that's where it ended. So I wouldn't like track my expenses like you guys see me do on a weekly basis. I wouldn't do any of that. Once I would calculate how much income I have for the week or for the 2 weeks or whatever, I would send so much money to savings, so much money towards debt or whatever, and that would be kind of it. So I decided to start budgeting because, I don't know, it was like I was kind of trying it out because I felt like I didn't need to budget because I wasn't bad with money. I didn't have bad habits, but I also wanted to kind of know like, where is my money going? Because I always would find myself like in a pickle to where like, okay, I don't have as much money as I feel like I should have. But the real big thing was I was reinvesting so much money back into my business, which, not saying that that was a bad thing, but I really needed more money to go towards like personal things like paying off debt, right? And so I had a lot of ups and downs in 2018 personally, emotionally. I had a lot of ups and downs in business. Before 2018, the majority of my income was actually coming from my business. And so I was pretty much self-employed for about 5 years, like 100% self-employed. And then I got to the point where no matter how much money I was making, I was just so unhappy because nursing is literally something I've been passionate about since I was a child. And so I had got to this point in business where I was just like, oh, you know, I don't need nursing. I love helping people just in general, and I'm still helping people over here in business. So nursing is just like whatever. But when I'm telling you, I was just so unhappy, like it was ridiculous. So at that point, I said, you know what? I'm going to flip everything around, and the majority of my income is going to start coming from nursing because I'm going to start pulling back from the different businesses that I had because I was no longer passionate about it. I was irritated with a lot of different things that I had to do to earn money, and I was just over it. And that's probably going to be a story time for later. But because of that, my income kind of like was doing this. Like as I was pulling things back, income was going down in those areas, but I was kind of staying the same in my nursing income because I don't know, like I just didn't really want to work full time. I hadn't worked full time in 5 years, so like this nursing assignment that I'm on, the travel nurse assignment in California, this is the first time that I've worked full time in literally like 5 years. So I didn't want to do that at first, but I knew with travel nursing I would have to. So if I had to like guesstimate about how much money I made last year, I would probably say about $55,000 if I'm not mistaken. That would be kind of what I would guesstimate. My income was up, my income was down, my income's, you know, flatline, then it would drop and it would go up. It was like all kinds of crazy. But the lowest income month I had was in January. That's when I only made about $1,400. And then the highest income earning month that I had was in March. So just 2 months later, I basically kind of made up for it. And my income that month was like maybe $8 shy of, $9,000. That had to be my highest income earning month like ever in my life. About 5 years ago is when, no, not 5, about 6 years ago. 6 years ago, so when I was about 23 years old, I was earning $8,000 a month, about $8,000 a month. And yeah, I had nothing to show for it. Not because it was like I was reinvesting so much back into my business that I wasn't really paying attention to the personal aspects of my finances, like getting out of debt and stuff. Back then, I was about $46,000 in debt. But by the time I started my debt freedom journey in October of 2016, yeah, I think October of 2016 is when I started my debt freedom journey. Please don't quote me on that. No, I think it might have been November or December. Once I started doing that, that's when I was just like, okay, I have to start like paying attention to me. And at that point, I was only about $27,000 in debt by then. So I was like paying off some debt, just not as aggressive as I was when I started my debt freedom journey. So before this question gets put down below, before I start going through like how much money I was saving and debt payoff and stuff throughout the year, I was living on my own from January to September, because I've had people say, oh, well, I could do that if I was living with my parents. Just because you guys see me living with my parents at the end of 2018 does not mean I was doing it the whole year, okay? Go back to some of my budgets and you guys will see how much I was paying in rent and stuff like that. So from January to September, I was living on my own, and I actually, from January to April, I had somebody living with me as well, and I was primarily taking care of like all of the financial responsibilities, okay? And that stressed me the hell out, okay? The hell out. Actually, if you go look at some of those videos where I'm on camera back during that time, you guys will see like my acne was really bad. Like I was stressed. I wasn't eating the best because I had to put so much of my money into supporting this other person as well. And so, you know, when you're paying for another grown person, you have to purchase items that aren't as great for you health-wise, and that affects you as well. My health was horrible. My emotions was all over the place. Look, I was a head case, okay? I don't even know how I kept it together on YouTube. But I really started this YouTube channel back in like October of 2017, really to hold myself accountable. Once I got to the point where I was like, okay, I really want to know where my money is going, stuff like that, I started watching budgeting videos, and I was like, you know what? I can like stay consistent with things. That's not a problem, but I want to be able to have other people kind of hold me accountable. And that was the birth of this channel. So while I was living on my own, my average bills were about $1,600. And so by bills, I mean like rent, utilities, my car insurance, stuff like that. And then my average variable expenses was about $1,200 a month. And so from January until April, all I had was my 2 emergency funds, the mini and the true emergency fund. I had a tax sinking fund because I knew, like, y'all, I owe taxes every year. Don't ask me why before I wasn't already putting money off to the side. Look, but at least I'm doing it now, okay? At least I'm doing it now. And then I also had an investment / miscellaneous fund. It wasn't until May that I created my car sinking fund, because that's when I became 100% debt free, and my car loan was my last loan. So my lowest saving month was $0. Of course, that was in January, which was my lowest income earning month. And that also was my lowest debt payoff month, which was $0 because I ain't make that much money, y'all, okay? I don't even remember. I don't think I had to dip into savings, but because I always have such a large buffer in my checking account. But still, that was a crazy month, okay? So my highest saving month was $2,371.15. That was actually in December. That was the first month, or I started my travel contract like 2 weeks into the month. So my very first, I think I only had like 2 paychecks from my new travel contract job or whatever. But yeah, so that was my highest saving month. And then my highest debt payoff month was in March, and that was $3,076.44. So I have my debt and savings tracker, which if you want to see a picture of this, head over to my Instagram because I did post a picture of this like a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just going to go through each month and tell you guys how much I saved and then also how much I paid off in debt. So again, January was $0 for both because my income was so low. February, I saved $1,240.12 and I paid off $1,502.65 in debt. In March, this again was my highest income earning month, which the actual number was $8,991.29. That was from various income sources. I saved $1,611.61 and then I paid off $3,076.44 in debt. In April, I only saved $200 and that was because I knew, like I had a goal to become 100% debt free before my 28th birthday, which is in June. And so I was like, all right, if I can just put a little bit towards savings this month, because at the time I think $200 a month is what I was saving for my taxes before I increased it after I became debt free. And so I was like, I'm throwing as much towards this debt this month as I can so that I have as little as possible left for me to pay in May. So I paid off $2,123.49 in debt in April. In May, I saved $619.75 and I paid off $1,586.78. That was the rest of what was left of my car loan, and that's when I became 100% debt free. If you guys did not see the vlog that I had made when I went to pay off my last debt, I will try to remember to link that up in the eye in the sky. Maybe some of you guys are new and you haven't checked that out yet. And then in June, so from June until now, of course, pretty much all of my extra income starts to get put towards savings. At this particular point, I don't believe that I had the $4,000 checking buffer. If you guys are new to my channel, basically what I tend to do, so a lot of people only keep like a couple $100s in their checking as a buffer, and they do like a zero-based budget. I think, yeah, zero-based budget, and they knock everything down to either zero or that small buffer. For me, my buffer is $4,000, but I don't believe that I made that my buffer until like maybe August or September, if I'm not mistaken, because I was always told that you want to keep 2 to 3 times your basically your monthly expenses in your checking account at all times. Because what basically the whole reason, without making this a full video, because I've already made a video about this, so I'll link that up in the eye in the sky as well. But basically the whole notion is if something was to happen, let's say you got sick, you couldn't work, or you lose your job, or whatever the case may be, maybe you don't work as many days and so you're not paid as much as you're used to, you have like 2 to 3 months worth of your expenses in your checking account at all times as a buffer to hold you before you have to start dipping into your emergency funds. So for me, that's $4,000. So in June, I saved $889.64. In July, I saved $566.02. In August, I saved $2,184.69, which was crazy to me because I still was living on my own or whatever. And then September, I saved $1,221.50. October was $659.07, and I believe that it went down like that because I think that's when I moved. So like all the moving expenses and stuff like that took a big like portion of my income. And then In November, I saved $1,345.38, and then again in December, I saved $2,371.15. So total in 2018, I paid off $8,289.36 in debt, which was crazy because I basically only did it in 4 months. Because remember, January, I didn't have enough income, so I only did that in February, March, April, and May, and then I was completely debt-free. So then the total that I saved in 2018 was $12,898.93, which basically is an average of $1,000 a month, which I'm pretty proud of because I never used to save. Not that I never used to save, because I've always been a good saver even since I was a teenager, but I've never been so systematic with my savings. And if you guys have not been watching my weekly paycheck to paycheck budgets, check those out. Over the last, I think this past week I saved $1,000. Last week I saved $1,000. The week before that was only like $200 something, because typically I don't really start saving until week 2 or week 3 of the month. But right now I'm on track to save over $3,000. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so that's kind of how my 2018 went. If I had to give myself a grade, I guess, on all of 2018, I would probably give myself an A, not an A+, because I think that there was 1 month in there where I was over budget. And then also because, 1 month I did have pretty low income, but I'm glad that it ended up averaging out. So I averaged out to almost make about $5,000 a month, which I think is pretty good. I mean, I'm in my 20s, I don't have children or anything, and my goal is just to continue to save and start to look into different types of investments, different sources of income, because it's always been my goal to be a stay-at-home mom. But with me becoming a travel nurse and me really enjoying this experience so much, I can see myself taking maybe 2 or 3 13-week assignments a year, and then having either 3 to 6 months off a year. But I would like to homeschool my children. I want to be able to take my children wherever. Oh, we're learning about the Alamo, let's just go ahead to the Alamo ourselves and go learn firsthand. That's always been my goal. So in order for me to do that, I have to continue to increase my income. I always have to have that savings cushion, so that if something was to happen, I'm taken care of, and my children, my future children, are also taken care of and stuff like that. So I will be making videos coming up about my investments and my investment journey and stuff like that, kind of telling you guys some of the investments that I have now, and maybe doing a quarterly update on those as well. I'll also start talking to you guys about different sources of income that I will be creating for myself and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to see where 2019 takes me, especially with me becoming debt free. I have so much money left over, you guys don't even understand. My debt bills, I think I've said this in other videos, but my debt bills were taking up $800 a month of my income. And during my journey of becoming debt free, I paid off $26,000, almost $27,000 in debt in 18 months. So that's well over $1,000 a month that I was putting towards debt every single month. And so it's now I have all of this extra money and I'm starting to travel again. I used to travel a lot when I was 100% self-employed, mainly for business, but still personal and pleasure trips as well. But I got so burned out because I was traveling a lot. I was on a plane every 4 or 5 days for 6 to 8 months. It was crazy. And then I was just I'm over this. But I'm starting to enjoy traveling again. And I just want to enjoy my life and enjoy experiences. As I've said in previous videos, you do have to sacrifice some things when you're on your debt freedom journey. I didn't sacrifice a lot, not because I didn't want to, but because I felt like it wasn't necessary. I was still able to travel. I was still able to shop. I was still able to do all that stuff and still pay off my debt, because I knew how to be disciplined with it. I knew the months that I couldn't afford to travel, and I knew the months that I could. And so I worked around that stuff. And although I feel like it is important that you do sacrifice some things, especially in the beginning as you're getting your habits and your discipline together, I also feel like life is too short for you to completely constrict yourself just for the pleasure of becoming debt free, because you know, anything can happen and you can be gone 2 hours after you become debt free. You know, that's just the reality of things. Back in February, I lost a very close cousin of mine at the age of 33. He was murdered by a family member of his wife. And so seeing that happen, and we were so close, like our lives were so close together, like we were both so disciplined, and although he had a family and I didn't, it's just like there was so many similarities in our lives, and he was only 5 years older. And so seeing somebody who was like the perfect example of an upstanding citizen in America, in this world, in this country, go out like that so early, it really made me realize, you know what? I have to stop being so uptight. I need to be a little bit more loose. I need to actually stop and smell the coffee, smell the roses. And because of that, I started getting a little bit more loose with my budgeting to allow me to enjoy my money, because not saying that I think I'm gonna go out like that, or I think I'm gonna go out at the age of 33, but the reality is you just kind of never know. And so because of that, I feel like it was really important for me to still be able to enjoy stuff. If you guys go and watch some of my old videos, you guys will see I still traveled a lot, I still shopped a lot, and I still paid off a lot in debt, and I still saved a lot. Now, of course, part of that is because of income. You know, a lot of you guys in the comment section will tell me, well, I only make this much. Like, how can I do the same thing? Well, you can't. You know, the reality is, if your income is restricting you, you have to earn more money. The only way for you to have the answer to all of your money problems, besides getting rid of bad financial habits and getting rid of expenses that are unnecessary, is to earn more money. But you also have to take a look at things. Like, you guys will see, I never had cable. You've never seen me write cable in any of my budgets because I don't have it. You guys won't see a Netflix or a Hulu or all of these different subscriptions. You won't see it. Mainly what you see is my rent, my utilities, my car insurance, and different business expenses that I have to have, like hosting a website and stuff like that. But outside of that, like, I don't have any extra expenses, okay? What, this month, actually, my new planner is over there. But in the month of December, so before I had to add the rent and utilities, now that I'm living back on my own and I'm in California, basically my total fixed expenses outside of rent and utilities is $312 a month, okay? And that includes car insurance and basically all business expenses, and $50 a month for a cell phone bill, okay? So if you add up all of your fixed expenses, and let's say you're at, let's say $600, $800, $900 a month, well, of course you're not going to be able to do as much as somebody who only has $300 a month in fixed expenses outside of rent and utilities. So you have to be real with yourself. And for me, it's not a sacrifice that I have cable. I have a jailbroken Fire Stick, okay? I get everything I could possibly want on there. I don't care about watching things live. I watch things on my computer, on the internet. Like, that's just something that just is not important to me. So I feel like a lot of those different things in my mentality is why I've been able to be so successful with budgeting. And I feel like everybody should be able to experience what I've experienced so far, you know, with budgeting or even becoming debt free. Let me tell you guys, debt freedom is everything they said it is. It is. Like, you just have so much left over that it's like, man, like, my first couple of months of not having a car loan, I was like, yo, I've literally had a car loan since I was 19 years old, okay? You're actually, was it 19? Yeah, I think that was the first time that I bought a car, because my very first car I bought at 17 was all cash. So basically for damn near 10 years, I had a car loan. Like, what? Now, it went from 175 to, I think, 262. That, no, 175 to, I think, $430 something a month, because I bought something brand new like a dummy. And then I traded that in for my last car that I now drive, that I'm, you know, debt free with, and that was $2 something a month. But it's like, when you think about that over the course of that many years, it's like, man, how, like, I could put $250 or $400 a month in a travel, you know, a travel sinking fund, so that I can travel like every 2 months. That experience is much more important than me driving a brand new car. You know, you just have to think about it from that aspect. And I feel like for most people, what holds them back from being financially free is all in their mind. It's all about the mentality. You know, if you feel like you can't earn more money than what you earn, you're never going to earn it. Like, whatever you think is whatever you do, and whatever you do is what you become. You know, so I just wanted to make this video not just to give you guys all of my numbers, but also to inspire you guys who are still on your debt freedom journey, who are having issues with budgeting. Like, figure out, you know, you have so many people in this community that have different methods of doing things. Figure out what works best for you, because when you have a successful budget, you're able to become financially free and debt free as well. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed my little rant at the end of this, because this video was supposed to be over like 5 minutes ago. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video, which will probably be my day in the life of a psych nurse. So stay tuned for that. Bye guys.